وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري أنه قال عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قد دخل علي برسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت عليك السلام. قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن عليه السلام نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا يا رسول الله أتعذرني أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. محمد وآل محمد. وما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي يا أمه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء. فدن الحسين عليه السلام نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جدا السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتعذرني أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء. فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمي رسول الله. فقلت نعم ها هو ما ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي عليه السلام نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتعذرني أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب الوعي قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي عليه السلام تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتعذرني أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء. قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بزأتي قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ برسول الله بطرف الكساء وهما بيد اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم. فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس ويطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبالها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا رب أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى، يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مزية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل ومعنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد محمد. فقال علي النبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوس هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله؟ فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني برسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذن بالله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني برسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم محموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. وقال علي إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد محمد وآل محمد.
جناب حاصل صاحب کی درخواست گزار ہوں چیف برانچ، اور آپ لوگوں کی درخواست ہے کہ برائے کرم تھوڑا آگے تشریف لائیے گا. آگے تھوڑا سا آگے آئیے پلیز. آگے لوگ آ سکتے ہیں وہ بیٹھے کرائیے آپ.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد وآل محمد.
بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات.
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد وآل محمد.
زہرا کو یوں ہے شاعر سالہ لیے ہوئے آغوش مصطفیٰ میں ہے اس شان سے بطول آغوش مصطفیٰ میں ہے اس شان سے بطول رحمت ہے اپنی گود میں رحمت لیے ہوئے زہرا کو یوں ہے محمد والے محمد صلوات
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد محمد
بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد محمد
فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ میں بھی ہوں من جملہ اہل ولائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ کلمہ گو وہ ہو نہیں سکتا پیغمبر کی قسم جس کے لب کو ہو نہ توفیق ثنائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ لب کی زینت کے لیے ہے مدحت بنت رسول سر کی زینت کے لیے ہے خاک پائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ دشمن آل پیغمبر کو نہیں اس کی خبر مرضی رب ہے وہی جو ہے رضائے فاطمہ مرضی رب ہے وہی جو ہے رضائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ کر گیا واضح وا کر منزل بنت رسول چرخ سے تارا جو اتراتا برائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ یہی مقصد رسول اللہ کی تعظیم کا اپنی منزل اپنے منہ سے کیوں بتائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے فاطمہ میں بس سمجھاؤں اے کلمہ گویا نے رسول روح کلمہ ہے حقیقت میں ثنائے
فاطمہ
فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے شہرت ثنائے
فاطمہ
میں بھی ہوں من جملہ اہل ولائے فاطمہ فرض ہے میرا بھی ہے محمد وعلی محمد صلوات فاتحہ بار دیگر نعرہ صلوات
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد مولی
مریم سے بھی بطول کو رتبہ سوا
ملا
بابا اسے رسول سا خیر الورا
ملا
بیٹا ہر ایک شہید رہے کربلا
ملا
شوہر ملا تو خلق کا عقدہ کشا
ملا
شوہر ملا تو خلق کا عقدہ
کشا
ہر ایک اپنے مرتبے میں انتخاب
ہے
زہرا ہے بے مثال علی
لاجواب
زہرا ہے بے مثال علی
لاجواب ہے
کیوں مومنوں سنا شرف اشرف
نساء
یہ قدر فاطمہ ہے بدرگاہ
کبریا
اب کچھ سنو مصائب زہرا کا
ماجرا
بعد فنا سے جب ورق دین الٹ گیا بھائی کے غم سے غم کمرے مرتضی
ہوئی
بن باپ کے جہان میں خیر
النساء
بن باپ کے جہان میں خیر
النساء
کہتی تھی یاد کر کے نبی کو وہ
نوحگر
بابا تمہارے غم نے کیا مجھ کو در بابا بطول ڈھونڈنے جائے
تمہیں کدھر
مدت ہوئی کہ آپ کی مجھ کو نہیں
خبر
مدت ہوئی کہ آپ کی مجھ کو
نہیں
یہ بین کر کے فاطمہ جو غلم چاہتی تھی آواز کی
قبروں سے آتی
آواز کی قبروں سے
آتی تھی
کھولے تمام آل محمد نے سر
کے بعد
غش ہو گئے حسین و حسن فاطمہ
کے لا
میں کیا لکھوں جو زینب و کلثوم
کا تھا
مردوں کے منہ سے ملتی تھی منہ کو
بسد ملا
مردے کے منہ سے ملتی تھی منہ کو
بسد ملا
فضا بھی لاش پاک پہ قربان
جاتی تھی
زہرا کے پاؤں آنکھوں سے رو رو
لگاتی تھی
زہرا کے پاؤں آنکھوں سے رو رو لگاتی تھی، اس دم جناب شبر و شبیر نیک آئے وداع لاشے کو دل اپنا تھام تھا، تب فاطمہ کے بندے کفن کھل گئے تمام، نکلے کفن سے دستے بطول فلک مقام، نکلے کفن سے دستے بطول فلک، کس درجہ چاہتی تھی ہر ایک نور عین کو، لپٹا لیا گلے سے حسن اور حسین کو، لپٹا لیا گلے سے حسن اور حسین، زینب نے بھائیوں کو کیا لاش سے جدا، رو کر علی نے شبر و شبیر سے کہا، لو اب اٹھاؤ ماں کا جنازہ بسد کا، آئی صدا نہ دو انہیں تکلیف مرتضی، آئی صدا نہ دو انہیں تکلیف مرتضی، یہ بوجھ تیرا احمد مرسل پٹائے گا، تابوت فاطمہ کا محمد اٹھائے گا، تابوت فاطمہ کا محمد اٹھائے گا، مریم سے بھی بطول کو رتبہ سے ملا۔
حضرت، جیسا کہ آپ کے علم میں ہے، یہ ایام فاطمہ کی 3 مجالس کا اہتمام مسجد-e-Ali میں کیا گیا ہے۔ آج کل اور پرسوں، میری مراد ہے اتوار، پیر اور منگل، آپ سے، اور کل کے دن تابوت جناب فاطمہ زہرا برآمد ہوگا۔ آپ حضرات سے درخواست ہے کہ تشریف لائیں اور اپنے اور دوستوں اور عزیزوں کو بھی بتائیں، تاکہ آپ جناب سیدہ کا جو پرچہ ہے رسول خدا کو دے سکیں۔ اس کے ساتھ ہی نہایت ادب اور احترام سے قبلہ و کعبہ جناب مولانا رضوان رضوی صاحب سے درخواست گزار ہوں کہ تشریف لائیں اور مجلس سے خطاب کریں۔ بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات، اور اگر ہو سکے تو تھوڑا سا اور آگے آ جائیں، مہربانی آپ کی۔
رحم اللہ من قرأ سورة الفاتحہ۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، للہ رب العالمین الرحمن الرحیم مالک یوم الدین، ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین، اهدنا الصراط المستقیم صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم ولا الضالین۔ Mu'mineen, tonight's Majlis is being sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Muhammad Jawad Ali Khan. Please recite Surah Fatiha for their deceased relatives as well as yours. Surah Fatiha. Bismillah. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم، بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، الحمد للہ الذی قصرت عن رؤیتہ ابصار الناظرین وعجزت عن نعتہ اوہام الواصفین، الحمد للہ رب العالمین، الصلاة والسلام علی اشرف الانبیاء والمرسلین، خاتم النبیین ابی القاسم محمد، وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق في حديث قدسي: لولاك لما خلقت الأفلاك لولا علي لما خلقتك ولولا فاطمة لما خلقتكما. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Condolences to mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially to Imam of our time, on the demise and the shahadat of his grandmother, as well as the grandmother of mu'mineen and sadat kiram. That today, or this series of majalis that are commemorated in the honor of Ayyam-e-Fatimiyyah Zahra salamullahi alayha, are the second series of Fatimiyyah. If you remember, on the 13th of Jumadil-Ula, we also commemorated a majlis for the demise of this great lady. That was the first date which marks possibility of the day of Shahadat. And this is, of course, the third of Jumadil-Thaniya or Akhira is the second day, which is believed to be the days in which the Shahadat of this great lady took place. Now, I use the word Shahadat because when you die by natural causes, you're not considered Shaheed. But when dhulm is inflicted upon you, and you face tyranny and oppression, and that results in your death, then that is the status which is given of a martyr. And thus we read in many of the testimonies and the rawayat from our later imams, especially our sixth imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, where he said that indeed our Jadda, she was Shahida. So he used the word Shaheed and martyr for her. And therefore, these days are dedicated in regards to the Shahadat. And therefore, tonight is the first of the series of these three majalis. As mentioned, tonight, tomorrow night will be the night of Shahadat, the third of Jamadul Akhirah. So therefore, we will have the tabut taken out in the ladies. And then the third majlis of this series will be on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Tomorrow's majlis at 5 and Tuesday night's majlis will be at 7 p.m. Taking advantage of these days and ayyam that we are going through, as we are all pretty much off from our works, and so it should give us an opportunity. As it is, this is an important date in itself which demands ajr-e risalat. Right? One of the promises that we have made to Prophet of Islam, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is what? That the question and the query in Quran, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا, that ajr-e risalat, we usually wrap around those who did zulm to Janab Sayyida. Aside from those who did zulm to her, let's focus on us. Have we paid the dues of ajr-e risalat ourselves? We know they have not. Those who did zulm, their maqam will be given to them in Jahannam, and they will be in that abode forever. But we're talking about those who claim to love these personalities. And so many times we've mentioned that mere love is not enough. It has to accompany action as well. Mere utterance from the tongue is not enough. It has to be shown as the part of your daily routine, as an application, as something which is translated not just from words but also in actions. And therefore, one of the misdaq, one of the manifestations of ajr-e risalat is to hold grand majalis when it comes to the shahadat of this great personality. Many of our maraji, current maraji, they emphasize a great deal when it comes to the shahadat of Janab Sayyida, referring to the Muslim nations that they should have, countrywide julus aza and protests. Protests in a sense gathering in order to bring about the awareness of the same way you have julus for Sayyidul Shuhada, you have Ashur which is commemorated. They have given Ayyam-e-Fatimiyyah similar reverence as well. So just understand this. I chose this riwayat which is called Hadith-e Qudsi. Hadith-e Qudsi is kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the difference that it's not in Quran. But there are many ahadith Qudsiyah which are from the kalam of Rasulullah that is reached us, which not necessarily is part of Quran. Amongst them is one of these most famous riwayat, hadith Qudsi, called where Rasulullah said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Prophet, Lawlak lama khalaqtul aflak. O Prophet, if it wasn't for you, I would not have created the heavens and the earth. I would not have created the universe and everything in it that you can imagine. That which humans have been able to explore and they're yet to still explore. Prophet, Allah said what? O Prophet, if it wasn't for you, I would not have created the universes. And then the hadith moved forward. Lawla aliyun lama khalaqtuka. O Prophet, if it wasn't for Ali, I would not have created you. Then hadith progressed. Lawla Fatima lama khalaqtukuma. If it wasn't for Fatima and her creation, I would not have created you two. Now here, someone might think that this hadith is degrading the maqam of Ali and Rasulullah in reference to Janab Sayyida. Well, we know in hierarchy that Rasulullah is the most superior personality, human being created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one is above him. This is our Musallam Aqidah. We also believe that after a prophet, the most superior and ba'adamat shakhsiyat is the shakhsiyat of Amirul Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. And then we believe that after Amirul Mu'mineen, the 11 Imams hold and enjoy that superiority. And then come the rest of the Ummah. So while we don't even count Janab Sayyida amongst the Imams, because you only have 12 Imams, she's amongst the Ma'asumeen, but not amongst the Imams, how is it that this hadith is portraying that she is superior to Rasulullah and Amirul Mu'mineen? Because the translation, I'll translate it for you once more. Lawlak, O Prophet, if it wasn't for you, I would not have created the universes. If it wasn't for Ali, I would not have created you, O Prophet. If it wasn't for Fatima, I would not have created both of you. Plain understanding of it gives you that she is superior to Rasulullah, Amirul Mu'mineen, and of course the universe. I think universe is the easier part in understanding this. But Ali and Rasul, how is that possible? Well, let's break it down slowly and gradually, and with one example, I'll prove that what this hadith is referring to. It does not mean that Janab Sayyida has a superior maqam above Prophet and Ali, no. Which is still a big deal. That if she is after these two, which is still a big deal. But she does not enjoy a maqam above Rasulullah and Amirul Mu'mineen. Why? She is tabi' of Risalat of Rasul and Imamat of Ali. She is following the Risalat of Nabi and Imamat of Ali. She is tabi'. She is the ma'mum of Imam. How can she be afdal than him? So what this hadith is trying to tell us is that there's a riwayah, there's a claim, there's a statement by Amir Sham who said that if I could, I will remove the name of Muhammad from the face of the earth. That was one of his plans. And he tried his best. He tried to disgrace the family of the Prophet by sending sabbo, shitam and la'an onto them from the pulpit for 25 years. This is present in the history books. No doubt about this. And then he said, if I could, I would remove the name of Prophet from the face of the earth, from the history books, so that nobody remembers him. And my forefathers are remembered. And this is what Yazid said after the events of Karbala as well. I wish my forefathers were alive to see how I have raised their names and I have, degraded the names of Ahlul Bayt. Today I have achieved this victory to those who were defeated in Badr. This victory to those named after those who were defeated in Uhud. My forefathers who were killed in Badr and Uhud, this victory is dedicated to them. That's what Yazid said, this documented. So when he claimed that, who was it that continued to fight to keep the name of Rasul alive after the demise of Rasulullah? It was Ali ibn Abi Talib. Amirul Mu'mineen made sure that the name of Rasul is not removed from Adhan, from Iqama, from Quran, and from wherever the name of Rasulullah is present. He fought till the last breath. He fought for Nubuwwat. Now when it comes to Janab Sayyida, if it wasn't for her, the 11 Imams from the progeny of Ali ibn Abi Talib would not come to existence. So who kept Ali alive after his demise? Who kept Rasul alive after his demise? Is Sayyida and the children of Janab Sayyida. And Rasulullah made sure that people understood this. That when he would greet Amirul Mu'mineen in the presence of other prominent people, and sometimes there would be jealousy and envy, Rasulullah said, the reason I adore Ali is because Allah has placed the progeny of every Nabi in him, but Allah placed my progeny in Ali. I don't have any sons, but my sons will continue through the progeny of Ali, and that is the reason I hold him so dear. And therefore now this hadith makes sense. That if it wasn't for Ali, the name of Rasul would have been wiped out. If it wasn't for Fatima, the name of Ali and Rasul would have been wiped out. And that is the reason this hadith makes sense. It does not show that Fatima is superior. I'll give you one more example from Quran. You refer to Surah Ma'idah, ayat number 67, which talks about the famous ayat. Ya ayyuhar Rasul balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbika wa illam taf'al fama ballaghta risalata. O Prophet, propagate that which has been sent to you. If you don't, it is as if you have not conveyed risalat altogether. My question to you, is the risalat of Rasulullah, the pagham of Rasulullah more important than the shakhsiyat of Rasul? No. Rasul is more important. The shakhsiyat of Rasul is the reason for the creation of the universe. How can anything be more superior to him? Even his pagham is not superior to him. So why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sort of like a threatening word that, oh Prophet, if you did not convey it is as if you've done nothing. It is like you tell your subordinate that if you do not complete this task, you're fired. Is that what Allah is saying to the Prophet? No. Mufassirin mentioned when this ayat was revealed, Rasulullah is saying, "Oh Ali," or Allah is saying to Prophet, "Oh Prophet, this message is so important that if you were to place this message in one side of the balance of the scale, it will be heavier than everything else that has been revealed to you up until this point. In the past 23 years, everything that you delivered on one side of the scale, and this announcement of the imamat of Ali on the other side of the scale, they will be equal in weight. If not, this would have been heavy." So therefore Rasulullah is told what? Ya ayyuhar Rasul balligh. O Prophet, convey that which has been revealed unto you. If you do not convey, it is as if you have not conveyed the message at all. Does not mean the message is superior to Rasulullah. This only means how important it is that if it is not delivered, the entire Risalat will go to waste. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. With this tamheed, I'm planning that inshallah in these 2 nights, I want to take the biography and the seerat of Janab Sayyida and share some points from her life, various aspects, which are not only beneficial for our sisters, but are equally beneficial for us as well. And therefore we find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created many different types of, love in our creation, right? Humans have fondness and love and compassion toward many things. One of the things that you love is yourself. One of the things that you love is your children. One of the things that you love, I'm using the word thing loosely, but you understand what I mean. Thing mean even persons. One of the things that you love is your country. One of the things that you love is your house, your spouse, your children, your parents. All of these are means of your love. And in fact, due to this love, you get the sense of, being appreciated and accepted in the society, and therefore you continue to live. You're given an incentive. Without this love, the life will become very difficult. Imagine someone who's hated by everyone. Imagine someone who realizes that nobody likes him. A riwayat mentions that there are 2 types of people. An-nas, there are 2 types of people. Ithnan. One is taraha, wal akhir araha. One is someone who, when he dies, he is rahat, and he is pleased after his death. The other group of people is when they die, others are pleased from them. Khaskam jahan haq. That this person is no more. Wahid istaraha, wahid araha. Rawat. That by leaving, some people miss this individual so much that they are, showing continuous sorrow and they remember them fondly. But there are certain people, when they leave, people don't miss anything. Good, achawa, no longer that person is around. So love is very important in our lives, and without this love, of course, life would become very challenging. Now, love to things changes as we grow. You look at the infants and the younger kids and the toddlers, their love is for the toys that they get. The gadgets, the toys, the games, those things hold a lot of love for them. They love their games. To the extent that they don't want to share it with anyone. You have to tell them it's a good thing, good nature to share your toys with others. It's very difficult for them to detach it. Kind of like when we are asked to detach something meaningful from ourselves, how would we react? I say, no, I'm not giving this away. Can you give this? No, I'm not giving this. I need it. Even if I don't need it, I'm going to keep it. This is the tendency which is continuing when we were young. We didn't want to give anything away, which was what? Ours. So you love toys, you love games. As you get older, your love for things change. You got some friends now. Maybe you love hiking, you love, biking, you love all of these other things. This is your passion now. Mountain climbing, I don't know, I'm just giving examples that some people have different things and passions and they start loving it. And then you love people as well as you grow older. And then when you get even older than that, then you have love for the luxuries of this world. You have love for different degrees, for example. You have love for things that you can achieve after earning a few bucks. The love changes as a person progresses in their life. But when they get to an age, then sometimes, usually is the case, that their love now gets to the place where they start loving what they were supposed to love from the very beginning of their life. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were supposed to love Allah from the very beginning of their life. But they didn't see Allah as they saw their toys or their games or their other passions. Why would I give such an example? Well, look at the amount of time kids dedicate towards their games and their toys. Do they dedicate that much time towards Allah? You don't expect them to. Okay, let's get them older. When they are teenagers, look how much time they dedicate towards their friends and other activities that they love. Do they dedicate similar amount of time towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then when they get even older, they have their own family and they're now in that age group and working and they got all these luxuries of the life. How much time they spend toward other things compared to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although Allah is only asking for 17 rak'at a day, not more than that, which might equal to 17 minutes a day from your 24 hours. But still we find dedication is to something else. But when they get old, meaning advance in age, now this spirituality comes into play. Now there's this love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hopefully, because even at that age, for some people, the love is not there. But hopefully, for majority, the love comes when they are at that age, because now they realize this is the end. This is probably, the last few, maybe decades of my life, or maybe years of my life, or whatever the case may be. And so they start dedicating more time toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why, there's so many examples in this regard that majority of the questions that I get are from the elderly in our community. Youngsters, either they're shy of asking questions, either they are afraid of asking questions, that what if my question sounds dumb, or, what if my question is, shunned away or turned around and says, what a stupid question and whatnot. Majority of the questions come from elderly in the community. I spend a great deal of time on the phone on a daily basis. And majority of these calls are from the elderly in the community. And majority of their questions are about what? Different du'as that they want to perform. Mustahab salat, mustahab du'as. Molana, is there any namaz mustahab today? Second of Jama'atul Ula, Jama'atul Thaniya, third of Jama'atul Thaniya. Is there any mustahab namaz? Go to du'as.org, you'll find it. But of course, they're elderly, they're not going to go to du'as.org, so they're going to ask the Molana. Majority of the questions are what? What namaz is mustahab to recite today? What dua is mustahab for today? What can we do? They've done with their wajib namaz. They're looking for more. They want to do mustahab namaz. They want to do nafila namaz. They want to do other things, supererogatory prayers, supplications and all that stuff. Either because they have a lot of time, they don't have anything else to do, but it's not because they have a lot of time and nothing else to do. Their love has now somehow kicked in. They love and they want to do more to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. While the elderly are busy finding out what are the mustahab prayers, their young ones are they're completely oblivious about the wajib prayers. Elderly are worried about what mustahabbat I can perform today, while their children are oblivious of what wajib is upon me today, unfortunately. They're worried about beyond 51 rak'at a daily basis, while their children having tough time offering 17 rak'at on daily basis. So when the love goes to that level, of course, when we look at this, that while we have at this age this intensity that increases in our life, it increases other areas or other good deeds in our lives as well. What was Fatima salamullahi alayha fond of? So I mentioned the levels of humans and what they are fond of. Younger ones, when they get older, when they're adults, teenagers, adults, and so on and so forth, all the way till very advanced in age. They're different things that they love. What did Fatima to Zahra love? What was her fondness? That's important to us. Why? Because we want to follow her sirat. She says, and she uses the word hubbiba in this riwayat, so that it's not kinaya, it's not, used metaphorically. It is used in the literal sense. Sometimes words are used metaphorically, it may not reflect towards the actual meaning. Actually, the word is being used by Janab Sayyida in this riwayat. She said what? She said, hubbiba ilayya min dunyakum thalath. There are three things that I am fond of in this world of yours. First of all, she did not say in this world of mine. She said in this world of yours. Because I don't even consider this to be my world. I consider that to be my world. But if I have to tell you what I love about this world of yours, hubbiba ilayya min dunyakum thalath. There are three things that are beloved to me in this world of yours. What are these three things? Number one, she said, tilawatu kitabillah. Imagine, she only got to live for 18 years. Janab Sayyida's infant years, toddler, teenage, adolescence, and even at the age of 18, she seemed old, that towards the end of her life, it was very difficult for her to even stand up and pray. You see some of our elderly sit down and pray. Janab Sayyida had difficult time praying, standing up, even at the age of 18. So all that her life is 18 years old. She says three things are that which I am fond of. Number one, tilawatu kitabillah. One thing that I'm fond of is the recitation of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now I don't need to explain to you the importance of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't need to explain to you the importance of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't need to explain to you the benefits of the recitation of book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are all well aware of that. I don't need to highlight the obligation to recite and understand the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are ayat that address that as well. But I just need to highlight tonight one thing, that if we call ourselves to be the followers of the sunnat of Fatima to Zahra salamullahi alayha, then one of the sunan of Fatima to Zahra was tilawatu kitabillah. That she loved reciting the book of Allah. And it's not that when she was in trouble, facing calamities, and she faced a lot of calamities. It's not when she was enjoying the life, only then she recited Quran. She loved reciting. No, generally speaking. First and foremost thing that she is fond of is tilawatu kitabillah. How many of you have understood the kitab of Allah cover to cover? How many of us, don't say how many of you, how many of us? How many of us have realized the messages for daily life that exist in this book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That we sometimes are looking for the answer is right there in this book. Many times we're looking for some questions, some advice, the advice is right there in the book. You open up this book and you find this advice right there. Afala yatadabbaruna fil Quran. Do they not ponder in this book? Or their hearts are sealed up? Our hearts are sealed up. If it wasn't that our hearts weren't sealed up, Quran would not say, Prophet would not say, Ya Rabbi inna qawmi ittakhadu hadha al-Qur'ana mahjura. Oh Allah, my folks, my nation had abandoned this Quran. Abandoned it. Not utilizing it properly. If Quran itself was not appealing, Kalam of Janab Fatima Zahra should be appealing to you. That she is the one who is giving you this advice. You hear an advice from someone famous, you try to do it. You look up that thing right away. You have the benefit of Google today. Right away you find out more information about that thing. Janab Sayyida is advising, one of the things that she is fondly in love with is the tilawat of Kalame Ilahi. Number 2, she said, وَالنَّظْرُ فِي وَجْهِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Second thing that I love in this world of yours. What do I love? I love looking at the face of my father, Janabi Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Of course, this is something which is not available for us. This is something which is an opportunity which is not there for you and I. You understand the importance of looking and doing the ziyarat of Rasulullah to the extent that there was a Jawan in Karbala when he was sent towards the Maqtal. You know what Imam Hussain said? Baraza ilayhim ghulamun. The person who is going towards these enemies in Maqtal, he is the most resembling to the Prophet. Mantiqan. You know, as far as his kirdar is concerned, character is concerned, guftar is concerned, speech is concerned, and his khulq and his face is concerned. Khalqan wa khulqan wa mantiqan. Who is the most resembling? Ali Akbar. And whenever we wished to do the ziyarat of Rasulullah, we would look at the face of Ali Akbar. And we would get the ziyarat of Rasulullah out of it. So you and I are unfortunately deprived of the ziyarat of Rasulullah. That's something which is not in our possession. In fact, ziyarat of Rasul was there as well. Wajh Rasul and Wajh Ali is also mentioned for the Ummat. You know, when Rasulullah left this world, Ummat needed the reflection of Rasul in someone. And Rasulullah had already narrated that famous tradition that if you want to see the ilm of Adam, if you want to see the sirat of Nuh, if you want to see the haybat of Isa, if you want to see this ghazab of Musa, if you wanted to see all of these characteristics of different anbiya, فَلْيَنْظُرْ إِلَى وَجْهِ عَلِي ibn Abi Talib. Then look no further. Look at the face of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You will find all of these characteristics combined in the face of Ali. We couldn't do the ziyarat of Ali either. We couldn't do the ziyarat of Rasul. We couldn't do the ziyarat of Ali. But brothers and sisters, you can do the ziyarat of Rasul and Ali. Tonight you're going to leaving with a formula where you can do the ziyarat of Ali and Rasul. I promise you'll have the formula with you. When you step out of here tonight, you too can do something to do the ziyarat of Ali and Rasul. Not the ziyarat of their shrines. When we go for their ziyarat of their shrines, we're visiting their place of burial. We're not visiting them. We're not seeing them. We're seeing where they're buried. You want to do the ziyarat of Rasul? You want to do the ziyarat of Ali? Who over here would say no? Everyone wants to do the ziyarat of these two. You say, yes, you can do the ziyarat of these two. When you leave this world in the state of Iman, the one who comes for your ziyarat is Rasul and Ali. Right? People who come to receive you for your istiqbal, who comes? If a mu'min leaves this world, there's a person who was terrified of dying. He was a mu'min, muttaqi, was terrified because of the maut and the qantaratul maut and how maut is taken out, how maut is resembled with, a silk garment which is now easily pressed between the thorns and dragged over the thorns. He said that's how naz'e, ruh, when your ruh is taken out of the body, that's how it feels. He was scared. But then he was told that when you leave this world, when you die, you get to do the ziyarat of Ali and Rasul. Who amongst you does not want to do the ziyarat of Rasulullah? Right away that man understood and he submitted and his death came upon him. So you too can leave this world in the state of Iman, and the ziyarat of Rasul and Ali will be Shamil Hal. Third thing that Janab Sayyida loves, number one, tilawatu kitabillah, wal nadhru fi wajhi Rasulillah, wal infaqu fi sabilillah. I'll leave the remaining for inshallah tomorrow night. Three things that Janab Sayyida loves in this 18 years of her life. Number one is the tilawat of Quran, which is in possession of you and I. We can do this easily. Easily we can follow the sunnah of Janab Sayyida tonight. After you leave, or before you leave, grab Quran and read and do the tilawat and make that to be your habit. You're following the sunnah of Janab Sayyida. Tomorrow we'll talk about more, aspects of her life that we can imply in our lives. Number two, ziyarat of wajh Rasulillah. You can do that as well. I just gave you the formula. And number three, infaq fi sabilillah, and spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I know I have recited this story many times before, but I see a younger crowd in front of me, so I want to relate this story one more time, asking for the elderly to excuse me for repeating this story, because it has that sense of giving. You know why she loved giving so much? لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You can never attain the highest of the virtues unless you separate part of what you dearly love. Giving something away which you don't love yourself is not infaq. It's not giving in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Giving fi sabilillah is that which you love yourself, and then you give it away. That's what's giving it. That which feels that something has been detached from your heart. It was so close to your heart, now you've given away. And you try to forget about that thing. Has it ever happened that someone asked you for something, you couldn't say no to them, you gave it to them, and then you kept on thinking about that thing for many days? Kya yaar, wo cheez de di. Happened to us. One story regarding this. There was a necklace that Janab Sayyida owned. She didn't own many worldly things. Few things that she got from her marriage, other things that were bestowed and given to her as gifts by Rasulullah. A Bedouin came in the Masjid of Rasul, asked, "O Rasul, I am hungry, feed me. I don't have clothes, provide me with clothes, and I am maqrood, in debt, fulfill my debts." Now of course, he's come to the right place. Rasulullah would not deny him. He's come to the house of Allah. When there was a beggar that came to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he's told to go to the house of Allah and his hajat will be fulfilled, he kept on asking, but ashab were busy doing the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that no one was mutawajjih toward this beggar. This beggar then said, "Oh Allah, I came to your house asking you, and I'm being turned down and nobody helped me." He asked Allah and he gets the help from Yadullah. Amirul Mu'mineen, who was in this state of ruku, he extends his finger where there was a ring on it. This man understood that he's offering me his ring. He took the ring from the hand of Ali ibn Abi Talib and he went away. Allah loved this act of Ali so much that he revealed an ayat regarding this, that Allah has made the itaat of those who give the sadaqah while they're in the state of ruku. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad par. So this man came to the right place. Rasulullah said, "I don't have anything right now. I'm in the middle of the speech. Go to this house." Now, of course, the house of Rasulullah and the house of Janab Sayyidah, house of Imam Ali, they were right next to Masjid-e Nabawi. And they said, "Go to this house and your hajat will be fulfilled." He goes, asks, Janab Sayyidah gave him something else. He said, "This will not fulfill all my hajat." She gave the best thing that she had, a necklace. The most expensive thing she had was the necklace. She gave it away. This man took it, brought it back to the masjid, said, "Rasulullah, your daughter gave me this necklace." Rasulullah said, "Who amongst you wants to buy this necklace and pay this man the money for it?" Ammar stood up offered the amount no one could offer, bought the necklace, and gave this man the money, and gave something on top of it as well. This man, his hajat were fulfilled. He was provided for, he was fed, he was given clothes, and his debts were also recovered. He left. Rasulullah said that there's basharat for someone who bought this necklace for Jannat. He had given this incentive. Whoever buys, basharat is for Jannat. Ammar took precedent. He did sabaqat amongst all the other people. He bought it. Kind of like when you go to auctions and people are auctioning things, you give the biggest bid. Ammar gave the biggest bid. He bought it. And then after hearing and understanding that Jannat has already been given, he gave it to his servant, his ghulam, and he said, here, return this to Rasulullah, and I am giving you as a gift to Rasulullah as well, meaning the ghulam. This ghulam comes to Rasulullah, says, Ammar has sent this necklace as a gift to you, and he has gifted me to you as well. Rasulullah says, go to my daughter, I gift both of these things to my daughter, the necklace and you as well as her servant. Ghulam comes home, knocks on the door, and repeats what he was told. He gives the necklace, and he tells her that I am the servant of yours as well, and my master, has given me as a gift. Janab Sayyida says, I set you free. I'm not in need of a ghulam. I set you free. When he heard that he's been freed, freedom was a big thing back then. When you were ghulam and slave of someone and you earned your freedom, it was a big deal. He was so excited that he started smiling. There was a smirk on his face. Janab Sayyid said, why are you smiling? He said, I'm just surprised at the tabarruk and the barakat and the blessing of one necklace, which you gave, which fed a man, which took care of his debts, which provided for his clothes, which gave bashara to a man for Jannat, which set a ghulam free and returned back to its original owner. This is where you understand when you give something in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not a loss at all. Thing returns back to you in multitude, it comes back to you. The third thing Janab Sayyida loved as far as this hadith is concerned, let me repeat, tilawatul Quran, ziyaratu wajhillah, wajh Rasulillah, and number 3, al-infaqu fi sabilillah. Do not hold your hands back in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But of course, her masa'ib within these 18 years were so big that if they had fallen on days, the days would turn into nights. Janab Sayyida, 18 years of sin. Can you imagine? What have we accomplished in 18 years? What do you expect someone to accomplish in 18 years? But this lady of Ismat and Taharat is a beacon of light for everyone, not just women, for men as well. How she stood up with courage against tyranny. How she stood up to safeguard the imamat. How she fought for her rights. And how her house was so respected. This is the house upon which Rasulullah passes by every day. He stops at the house and the door of Janab Sayyida and says what? Assalamu alaikum ya ahla baytin nubuwwah. This is the household of nubuwwat. Rasulullah did not call the houses of his azwaj to be the households of nubuwwat. Although many of the ayat may have been revealed in the houses of his wives and azwaj. But Rasulullah called this to be the Ahl Baytin Nubuwwah, the household of Nubuwwah. This is the house in which Jibreel Amin comes down, bringing revelation to Rasulullah. And this is the very house where Rasulullah had fallen sick, and he was breathing last few of his breaths, and his head was laying on the lap of Janab Sayyida, that she hears someone knocking on the door. The houses are not that big. Houses are small. She says, oh man, go away. My father is not feeling well. She hears a knock again. She repeats the same thing. Third time she hears the knock, she starts crying. That why don't you go away? My father is not feeling well. He's ill. I want to spend last few moments with my father alone. Imagine being the only daughter of Khatumul Anbiya. Imagine being the daughter of Sayyid al-Mursaleen. Rasulullah woke up when the tears of Fatima fell on the face of Rasulullah. He opened his eyes and he says, oh Fatima, what is it that is bothering you? What is it that is bothering you? I would say, oh Rasulullah, this is nothing compared to what will happen to her. After you leave, right now there's just one person who's knocking on the door. In a few days, the same door will be brought down. We find that Janab Sayyida said, oh Baba, there's someone on behind the door who's knocking, and I tell him that go away, but he's persistent. And then Abi Rasulullah said, oh my daughter, this is only the respect of the door of Ahl Bayt al-Nubuwwah, the household of Sayyida, that even Malakul Maut needs the permission to come. It is not any door. Malakul Maut will come in without any permission. This is your house, O Sayyada. This is Israfil who's coming, Azrail who's coming to collect the qabz of Rasulullah. He is the one who's coming, but he is respecting your door, and that is the reason he's not coming in. I would say, oh Janab Sayyada, your door is respected by the angels, that they're knocking before coming, but only a few days after your after the wafat of Rasulullah, the door is brought down. Sayyada is crushed between the door and the wall, and the fire is brought at the door of Sayyada. But I would say, oh Sayyada, at least your hijab was respected. Your hijab was not snatched. Come to Karbala. The tents are put on fire. The tents are burning. The women are without veils. Zainab says, oh Zainul Abidin, should we go out without our hijab, or should we remain in the tents and burn alive? Ala lanatullah qawmi zalimin. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayyamun qalbin yanqalibun. Matam Hussain, Ya Hussain.
बैन ज़ैनब का था हाय माँ सैयदा, बैन ज़ैनब का था हाय माँ सैयदा, बैन ज़ैनब का था हाय माँ सैयदा। बैन ज़ैनब का था हाय माँ सैयदा, हो गई तुम जुदा हाय माँ सैयदा, बैन ज़ैनब का था हाय माँ सैयदा, बैन ہو گئی تم جدا ہائے ماں سیدہ بین زینب بین زینب تم پہ جلتا ہوا در گرایا گیا ہائے مظلوم پہ ظلم ڈھایا گیا جرم تھا کیا تیرا ہائے ماں سیدہ بین زین تم پہ جلتا ہوا در گرایا گیا ہائے مظلوم پہ ظلم ڈھایا گیا جرم تھا کیا تیرا ہائے ماں سیدہ بین زین بین زین آنکھیں اے اماں جان کھولتی کیوں نہیں میری آواز پہ بولتی کیوں نہیں ہو گئی کیوں خفا ہائے ماں سیدہ عمر بھر غم سہے چین سے نہ رہی ہائے بعد نبی سکھ نہ پایا نہیں تم پہ بیٹی فدا ہائے ماں سیدہ بین زین بین زینب کا تھا ایسا میت پہ ہے بین دل گیر کا اٹھ کے دیکھو ذرا حال شبیر کا کرتے ہیں سب بکا ہائے ماں سیدہ ہو گئی تم جدا ہائے ماں سیدہ بین زینب کا تھا ہائے ماں سیدہ یا حسین یا حسین یہ غربت علی ہے 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 یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت یہ غربت یہ غربت علی ہے، حق مانگنے جو زہرا، حق مانگنے جو زہرا دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، حق مانگنے جو زہرا، حق مانگنے جو زہرا دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، آواز آ رہی ہے میں بنت مصطفیٰ ہوں، بابا کے کلمہ گویو میں ہی تو فاطمہ ہوں، پہچاننے سے دنیا، پہچاننے سے دنیا انکار کر رہی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی سن کر سلام حیدر کوئی نہیں ہے رکتا، واجب نہیں سمجھتا کوئی جواب دینا، افسوس فاطمہ بھی، افسوس فاطمہ بھی یہ بات جانتی ہے، غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت یہ غربت حق مانگنے جو زہرا، حق مانگنے جو زہرا دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، مسجد میں سر جھکائے مولا کھڑے ہوئے ہیں، حاکم کی تہمتوں کو چپ چاپ سن رہے ہیں، صدیقہ سب کے آگے، صدیقہ سب کے آگے جھٹلائی جا رہی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، کہتی ہے رو کے زہرا جانے نہ دوں گی تنہا، پٹکے میں مرتضیٰ کے ہے ہاتھ سیدہ کا، اب ہے کسی کا درا، اب ہے کسی کا درا اور دختر نبی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت، یہ غربت علی، یہ غربت علی ہے، ایک کوچے میں پہنچ گئے، دیکھا ہے مجتبیٰ نے، ظالم نے ضرب ماری، کیسے خدا ہی جانے۔ بنت نبی زمیں پر، بنت نبی زمیں پر غش کھا کے گر پڑی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ پہلو بھی ہے شکستہ، ہاتھوں پہ بھی ہے چھالے، ہے آپ کی امانت اب آپ کے حوالے۔ یہ کہہ کے مرتضیٰ نے، یہ کہہ کے مرتضیٰ نے میت نبی کو دی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت، یہ آخری شعر، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ کیسے لکھے تکلم غربت علی ولی کی، زوجہ صحابیوں کے دربار میں گئی تھی، بیٹی شرابیوں کے، بیٹی شرابیوں کے دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے، حق مانگنے جو زہرا دربار میں گئی ہے، یہ غربت علی ہے۔ سائن
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد، اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد، اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔ بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم۔ السلام علیکم یا ابا عبداللہ، السلام علیکم یا ابن رسول اللہ، السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیکم یا غریب الغرباء، السلام علیکم یا معین الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام علیکم یا شمس الشموس، السلام علیکم انیس النفوس، ایھا المدفون بعرض توز روحی وجسمی لک الفدا، السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ، السلام علیکم یا صاحب العصر والزمان، الامان الامان الامان، السلام علیکم یا شریک القرآن، السلام علیکم امام ھذا عجل اللہ تعالی فرجک وسہل مخرجک وظہورک وجعلنا من انصارک واعوانک، السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔